This is F121. This is the mainstream racing series. This is race number 18 out of 24. I'm Zeb Bauer. Glad you're with us tonight for one of the final races. 6 races after tonight, still remaining in the third season calendar of MRS. And the races get more and more important as we turn towards Austin, Texas here tonight. Whenever the F1 has been in Austin, things have always been very interesting, as the races were more or less always very late in the season, and just as much it is for MIS when we turn here towards the Cobra in Austin. Let's have a short look about what we do here tonight. This is our track, Circuit of the Americas, with the 3 intermediate tire compounds C2, C3, C4. We have a track with 20 turns, 5.5 kilometers of length. Track difficulty easy? Nope, definitely nope. Especially the S's in sector 1 are anything but easy. We have a 18 minutes qualifying followed by a 50% race distance, what should be I think 26 or 28 laps. Dynamic weather. We race with regular corner cut here tonight. Means MRS has experimented around with between regular and strict stringency over the month and years, you could always say years by now. And there is some internal discussion going on how to proceed with the corner cut stringency and how to deal with that. And usually we don't want our races to be decided too much on penalty seconds. On the other hand, most of the leagues race with strict and sacrifice the penalty time situation, and so MIS had some trials with between strict and regular, and here we are at the Cobra on the right hand side. The overview platform, wherever you are on the track, you can have a look at the Cobra, or the other way around. If you stand atop of the Cobra, you can have a look at every angle, every inch of the circuit of the Americas. So as Christmas time is zooming in, we are a little bit short on drivers today. Sadly, only 12 drivers made it for today's race. But okay, it is as it is. And shortly before Christmas last year, things were a lot different. At least the European countries were in a rather strict strangulation hold about COVID lockdowns, so we had a lot of time in the evening. If you remember, if you are a experienced online racer, we had a lot lobby glitches and malfunctions due to the big overload of online drivers. This is different in this year, and as a result of it, some drivers are a little bit busy here in the final days before Christmas. But okay, it is as it is. We make the best out of it. We have 12 drivers here with us tonight, and we will have us an exciting race nevertheless. And just as we always have it here for MIS. So, first one to leave the garage on this overcast, cloudy day is Mr. Dylan Chapman. Having a brief look through the chat box. Good evening, all my friends in there. Happy holidays, says the Mondi and Romand, the monster. Well, holidays. Is it already? Is it already holiday? I don't know. I had my last day of work right today, so as soon as it is tomorrow, I am in my year-ending holiday. So for me, yeah, it is. But I think there are quite some other people who do not have holiday yet. But still, yeah, happy holiday, of course. Back to you, and Romand. Gregory Morty is sadly busy, not able to race with us tonight. Same goes for Sam Gobert, who is dealing with some school stuff. Yeah, you can watch. Of course you can watch. Please be my guest here in the chat box while we start the first hot lap of this qualifying with Dylan Chapman in the Mercedes up the hill for turn 1. Allows multiple lanes actually, so always an interesting situation on the start, and then into the S's, left, right, almost as we had it last week in Japan. But you can see there are a lot of run-out zones, so this is an interesting thing to watch, or on the other hand, a big penalty risk if you go on strict corner cut. Then the long back straight, the RS zone starting right here, one of the longest straights in the whole race calendar, over 1 kilometer of just flat out full throttle, tight left-hander, but pretty wide lanes possible there, and then right, double right, and a left, double left combination, and this repeats itself on a bit of longer stretched version here. A right-hander with 3 apexes, incredible, hard to take, but with a lot of downforce you can travel through on full throttle, and it looks like Dylan Chapman decided to have quite a load of downforce on his Mercedes. And here we are with the first hot lap of Dylan Chapman, a 1:32.2, already multiple seconds faster than the real life lap record. And Dylan Chapman time holds up against Blake Gary and Andrew Mond. Both stay behind him, and Achterlücken is faster, but barely, just a little bit, just half a tenth. That Achterlücken beat the time of Dylan Chapman. And then it is Dominic Walsh with 3.5 tenths. Provisional P3. And that brings me to the one most important topic for these weeks, these months, the Battle of the Walshes. The season 3 is, speaking about the championship, it is very likely to go down one way or the other into the Walsh's hands. Both Dominic and Thomas Walsh have been involved in the championship decisions the last 2 seasons already. Thomas Walsh was cemented in 3rd for the last 2 seasons, while Dominic Walsh was the winner of season 1, champion of season 1, champion of season 2. Peter Simpson sadly not here tonight. But now in season 3, those two guys, both the Walshes, have stood out, you could say. So There is Jeppe Nielsen, rather close. There is Dylan Chapman, rather close. But no one was able to pile up points in such a manner as the Walshes did, and therefore they are almost level on points. They were level on points as we raced last week in not Singapore, in Suzuka. But Thomas Walsh finished one place ahead of Dominic Walsh. That means that today, with race number 18, it is Thomas Walsh who is in a slight little bit of lead of just 3 points, barely ahead of his younger brother. And with 7 races still remaining, this lead could swap a few times in one or the other direction until we will finally crown the Season 3 champion on, I think, February 2nd. At least I expect this battle to be decided just in the last race then. And right now, the Mercedes-driven Dominic Walsh is on the upper hand, as Tom Walsh did not really have a competitive lap time. He is still running here on the long back straight, improving himself, but already on the second lap of this set of softs. And we all know the quali rule, meaning if you quali in the top 10, you have to start on the tire, and that would mean that this set of softs rubber is 1 or 2 laps older than the others. So I'm not sure if it would be his best idea to run this lap to the end. And he doesn't. Only one man now out on the track. No, not the only one, but he is on his out lap and will probably be the next one to start producing a hot lap. That's why we stay with him. That is our reserve Boosted, who has sat down in the second Red Bull here tonight. And here he starts his hot lap. The only one right now who wants to run on mediums, and just when I say it, it is Thomas Walsh, who has opted to at least mount the yellow tire. He's still standing in his garage, but he'll probably try a hot lap sooner or later on the yellow tire. Blake Gary and Chapman have each started one next hot lap. So as sad as it is that it is only 12 drivers, but on the other hand, it is a lot more easier to keep some sort of an overview here in the quali. Aha, welcome Mikko Caruso, our rockstar, is watching. Sadly not racing, didn't see you race for quite some weeks now. I hope you will return to us sooner or later, but for the moment, welcome in the chat box. Enjoy the MI's race with us if you want tonight. Happy belated birthday, by the way, to our rockstar. A week ago, or maybe 2, he turned... No, I won't say it. He turned, let's say 23. The age of Rockstar. Wow, big power slide here in the end of Boosted. That costed him a lot of time. And Blake Gary, a new provisional pole setter. Congratulations to our youngest, 132. And right when I say it, it is Dylan Chapman blasting his time by, have a look, 10,000. 10,000. That's exactly a blink of an eye that Dylan Chapman was faster than Blake Gary. That's interesting. Top 3, all of them within 1/10. Very, very close here on the top 3. And Tom Walsh is on a hard lap. What is he doing? One of our championship contenders. Coming towards the end of Sector 2. After this left-hander right here. And he is not improving. No improvements for Dominic Walsh, while his brother Tom Walsh has now gone on an outlap on mediums with 6.5 minutes remaining. He can test out the waters on mediums, but if he wants to run the medium tire on a hot lap and then come back to the pits, that might be a little bit of a hurry then. While we see Arthur Lücken pushing for the next hot lap, and Dominic Walsh improved his time in the end, but did not jump ahead on the table, still in P4 like he was before. Grimo Goodman improving his time and is now in P6. 7.5 tenths the gap from Mark Goodman to the provisional pole setter Arthur Lücken. And as I see it, there is probably no one on a hot lap, while we see Grimo Goodman using the runout zones to get back to his pit crew a little bit faster. And as there is no one on a hot lap, let's have a look what Thomas Walsh is doing, warming up his medium tire there very intensely between the last two turns, and now he has to go. Now he has to get it started. 2 seconds his gap to the pole setter Arthur Lücken, and 1.6 seconds, 1.7 almost, the gap to his brother, who he is dueling with for the MRS crown. Through the S's here in Sector 1, a little bit more than a tenth his improvements, but in Sector 1 it's not where you can win a lot of time. You can just throw the lap away there. Coming towards the long back straight, yellow in Sector 3 and yellow in Sector 2. And that was Tom Walsh, and there goes his set of medium rubber. That's it for him on mediums. 4 minutes 10 seconds remaining, and that means he'll have to return to his pits, get a fresh set, and then run again. Is Thomas Walsh showing nerves here? Oh. Is there someone maybe a little bit nervous in the quali, in the duel against the younger brother? He'll return. Yes, he does return to the pits. No other option there actually for him. 3 minute 20. It will be close, but it will work for him. While we see Boosted on an outlap, and he is running on the yellow tire from before again. So obviously Boosted sees a big strategy advantage on the yellow tire. Big enough not to try on softs. He prefers to sacrifice track position on the starting grid in order to have the yellow advantage. He's the only one on a hot lap, so we can easily focus on him here right now before we turn towards the intense last moments in this quali. Outlap now already for Chapman and Gary and Taylor Ikic-Lanotcam. Boosted here on the long straight, then the left-hander, and then he is at the end of sector 2. Meanwhile, Mike Taylor is the next one on a hot lap. Next one we have to watch. Oh, and he has lost his car. He has lost his rear, and that is maybe it for Boosted. That is maybe already it for his qualifying. We can sadly ignore his times. And Mike Taylor is improving by 2.5 tenths at the end of sector 1. That is not bad, but not enough to attack the pole. End of sector 2 for Taylor here. Oh yeah, 4.5 tenths. So he's getting closer towards the second starting row, but not a lot more. So maybe P3, P4 for the moment. In the discussion for Mike Taylor, Blake Gary. Just here, where is it? Before the long back straight. Dylan Chapman is right behind him. So first we have a look at the time incoming from Blake Gary. One left-hander here. And then aggressively over the curbs, and then he's improving by 1.5 tenths. That is not bad, but again, not enough to push for a pole. Dylan Chapman. Oh yeah, he is in potential pole discussion. 2.5 tenths his improvements. The Walshes, where is Thomas Walsh? He is running on mediums again, so he wants to force his way into the top 10 on the yellow rubber. He is improving, but he will not compete for the pole position. And Blake Gary has run his lap to the end, and he is second. 37 thousandths of a tenth behind this man, behind Achterlücken, and now behind Dylan Chapman. Dylan Chapman did it. He was fast, and he was fast enough to attack the pole, while Achterlücken is still here in sector 2 on the long back straight. Let's have a look what the time will tell for him. And then we have a look at Dominic Walsh, who is, I think, still in sector 1 in the S's. Oh, no improvements for Achterlücken. Achterlücken is out of the quali, out of the pole discussion. Dominic Walsh here in sector 2, the long back straight, and then we have to look at his brother, what he is doing. Dominic Walsh, he needs to improve. He's down to P6 anymore because Mike Taylor and both the Alpines are ahead of him. 2.5 tenths his improvement. That is good, but not good enough. And Thomas Walsh is finished in P10, only P10, and everyone behind him is finished. So Tom Walsh must start on this set of mediums, and that is, first impression by me, that is a disadvantage for him. But now let's have a look what Dominic Walsh is doing. The two last left-handers, it looked a bit wide there in turn 19, and in the end, yes, it is only P4, only fourth for Dominic Walsh. He lost some time there at the end of his hard lap. It was a good one. It was at least, let's say, front row potential, but nope, not in the end. But even if P4 doesn't sound very well, not very prominent for Dominic Walsh, he is far away, far ahead of his brother, and that is already one little sort of a success for the younger brother. And we watched Blake Gary wiggle his way over the checkered flag for the end of the quali. This is our starting grid for the Austin Grand Prix. We see Dylan Chapman in the pole, second Achterlücken, third strong quali Blake Gary and Dominic Walsh in the second starting row, P5. Then Mark Goodman 6th, Mike Taylor 7th, Andrew Mant, who was not satisfied with P7, but that's actually not so bad, I would like to call it. P8, then Iggy Lai, 9th, Nevis Jekic, P10, Thomas Walsh, 11th, Stuart McDonald, and P12 is the check. Driver boosted, Leonard Cam and boosted both will have free tire options for the start and their tire strategy. So here we are in the pit lane, fair weather, sunny weather, and our drivers have a few seconds left to set the tire strategy, and I will be back with you in a moment. And here we are on the installation lap while we greet driver number 13. He made it a little belated. Our cook, the FX chef, Gregory Mortier. Welcome to the race, at least to the race. While it is only two drivers who have started on mediums, Thomas Walsh had to, plus Stuart McDonald. P12 and 13 boosted, and FX Chef are on the soft tire. So yeah, well, let's see if that really paid off or will pay off for Tom Walsh. For me, it still seems like a mistake to sacrifice so many positions behind his brother. But okay, he is the leader, our overall leader. Let's see if he will be so still when this race is out. While Dylan Chapman has more or less rushed through the installation lap and now turns towards his starting box. Ah, there's one driver who is standing there, not sure what that was. He is pushed away now. Uh-oh. This is a Red Bull. Not sure what sense that can make. Oh, this is the car of Gregory Mortier, who joined belated. Oh, not sure if that could dish out some troubles for our start. Looks a bit funny where the Red Bull is just standing in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So now Gregory Mortier will have his very own formation lap. Interesting. Oh my. during the quali, I talked about the totally glitched and malfunctioned lobbies we had in F1 20 during last year's winter lockdown. Yeah, and just when I said it, sort of the commentator's curse I have sometimes been called. Here we have us a glitch again. Finally, a glitch again. As Gregory Mortier did not participate in the usual formation lap, but will have his own now. Okay, so... And now everything is black screen. Aha, and here we are on the start. Is it a start? I have no idea. Anyway, we are going here in Austin. Thanks for this glitched lobby, glitch start, malfunction start, call it whatever you want. But Achter Lücken and Chapman are battling for the lead, and Chapman is out. Chapman has spun out there in turn 3, giving Achter Lücken the lead, and Andrew Mond is out. Andrew Mond has shot out of... Yeah, already passed. We already passed him. Not really sure what is going on. Why Mond was out. Nevertheless, he just shot out of the picture like a cannonball. So, jump start, not from a driver, but from the whole game. Well, we are here in a long ongoing VSC. Still some VSC. Dylan Chapman in last position as he had this spin there in turn 3. Yellow is over. We are back to racing. We are officially racing. There is no further notification of race control. Race control means our administration. No one calls this a glitch lobby to restart things. We are going, and this is important because Achter Lücken is leading. Dominic Walsh lost the position while Tom Walsh gained one. And Andrew Mond hits the nail on the head, saying that this first lap was a joke. It indeed was. Sad that you shot yourself out of the race very early. But cool that you are at least still with us and watch your lads race. And we see Achter Lücken, who is unable to shake off Blake Gary behind him. Blake Gary still in the rear of Achter Lücken. It looks like that the Alpine is faster than the Williams ahead. Then we see a 2 seconds gap to Mark Goodman and Mike Taylor. So interesting, 4 totally different names here in the top 4. And that is actually one of the assets of the mainstream racing series. The fact that you cannot predict anything here in MRS, and that provides us with a lot of entertainment. Oh, aggressively over the curbs there for Blake Gary. Shouldn't do that too often. The dirty air effects are kicking in here in the S's by a lot. That is the reason why Achter Lücken is crawling away right here, but we have seen a notification of a race control that the AS is being enabled. So now for the first time, there you see it, the Alpine points upwards towards the blue sky, and he is zooming into the rear of Achterlücken, but not far enough. Different than for this battle group. This is Mike Taylor leading the way, passing Grimo Goodman, and in fifth, Dominic Walsh, as we see them right here. Jack Rocknan in the chat box. Good evening to you, Torpedo Jack. Sad that you cannot be with us, but cool that you are at least watching us race. So this is the battle group for third, and just a little bit ahead I have one eye on the gap of Gary, who is not able to attack Achterlücken, and likewise none of these three boys is in a position to attack. But Dominic Walsh is close. He is close to the rear wing of Grimo Goodman. Up and behind, Nevis Ikic has passed Iggy Lai. I suppose that there was some sort of error involved from Iggy Lai, because usually you cannot overtake in the S's. And in the background, Boosted is getting attacked from Thomas Walsh. Nope, not yet, I want to say. And in the front, this is the lead change, question mark. Good, Gary on the inside. Nope, inside was Williams of Achterlücken. And now Gary on the inside. Where is he? There he is, and Gary has muscled through. Blake Gary in the lead of the early Austin Grand Prix. Well done from our youngest. Oh, you could hear Achterlücken being in need of lifting there. It looks like Achterlücken is a little bit in trouble there. Feels like he is not having so much of downforce. Blake Gary uses every inch to try and defend, but Achterlücken has pushed through again. Lead change back to the Williams, while we see, what is it, a position swap between Taylor and Grimo. Mike Taylor now third man on the podium. Mark Goodman is doing hard to stay inside the 1 second window. Up yellow in sector 1, that was a Haas, that was Lennartkamp. Lennartkamp spun midway through the S's. And now, where is the next attack looming? Not here, it seems. And not here either. Or maybe here. Oh yeah, wheel to wheel. Oh, dangerous moment there between Ikic and Lai. Nevis Ikic seemed to have the door slammed shut. At least that's what how it seemed when we turned there. All these run-out zones rather invite you to a aggressive maneuver. And Eli is using a lot of these run-out zones, and we have the next lead change. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, we have. Blake Gary is through again. Let's see how long he can stay ahead. Achterlücken trying to stay as close as possible here in the SS in the dirty air effects. 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6, no, not 6/10. He is close enough. He is close enough to try and dare to attack. Meanwhile, it is Mike Taylor in third, and then Dom Walsh fourth. but those three-man group has stretched out a bit, and Blake Gary is doing the Max Verstappen, trying to not give Achterlücken slipstream, but in the end, Williams did not even need the slipstream. DRS opened 20 kilometers per hour extra, and that is enough to just cruise by the Renault fired Alpine. But a little bit of slide there from Achterlücken, and Gary uses it. On the inside lane on this triple apex right-hander, and he is through again. Oh ho ho, this could turn into a very, very exciting and entertainment loaded lead battle. Next DRS zone, Achterlücken, goodbye, in the lead again. No chance to counter, at least for now, at least until the long back straight then for Blake Gary. And all that got Mike Taylor a little bit closer, 1.2 seconds the gap. Yellow in sector 1, Ikic! Oh, Ikic! Showing us the lawnmower abilities of the Alpha Tauri. So I wanted to say, the field has stretched out a bit. The three-man battle group is actually not existing anymore. But the battle of these two boys, Achterlücken and Gary, this time it is Gary attacking with the AS. And he's through. And he's through. Yeah, those two boys battling, that means that the drivers behind can catch up to them, as those two boys cost each other some time. And that means that Mike Taylor is already 1.3 seconds away just anymore. So he is getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror of Achterlücken, and Dylan Chapman has spun in the S's. Chapman, who needed this early pit stop. The pole setter wants the pole setter. And now the next attack, Achterlücken from Blake Gary. By the way, funny side effect, Blake Gary has been sitting right in this car in the Williams last season. And he's defending hard against his successor in the second or first Williams cockpit. Second, as you want to see it. First for tonight, as there is no other Williams. And have a look. Meanwhile, Mike Taylor is already there. Mike Taylor is there. And he is... was he inside the detection window? Hard to tell. We will see now. He was in, but it is starting to drizzle. Have a look. There is a drizzle. It's starting to drizzle down. I wanted to say that already a few laps ago, that it looks like the weather is getting more and more cloudy. Oh, and Dylan Chapman is already in for Inters. My goodness, Dylan Chapman has already pitted for Inters. That stop was bold from Chapman. So, and now, let's see how fast the rainfall will be. Oh, Achterlücken into the pits, my goodness. He almost collided with Gary, as Gary is still racing on while Achterlücken is pitting. And now let's have a look. Will he go for Inters already by now? Actually, he will have to. Yes, he does. Red off, green on, second driver on Inters. And this is a big, a monstrous disadvantage for Thomas Walsh now, who has tortured himself in the quali to start on mediums, and now everyone maybe will have to go for for green tire before he can have an advantage from starting on mediums. Oh. I don't want to say that he's throwing away his championship chances already on this race, but this will probably have a big disadvantageous result on his championship run compared to his brother, who has just snatched P2 from Thomas Walsh's teammate Mike Taylor. So I'm watching the intermediate times from Achterlücken on the Inters, and it looks like he is really perfectly matching the times of Boosted. So not a real advantage for the Inters. Oh, Mike Taylor. Big slide there in the end. And and in the background, Indiscrimo, who lost the rear of his Alpine and went sideways and now into the pits. And Thomas Walsh is out! No! Thomas Walsh is out! Can you believe it? Safety car! We have a safety car! Because Thomas Walsh didn't get around the pit entry corner. My goodness! My goodness! Oy! How big is that? While Blake Gary is... Oh no, Blake Gary is still going on his softs here in this situation. He has an a slight little bit of advantage that we are still in the... let's call it VSC moment. We are in safety car, but the safety car didn't find the leader yet, so he has a chance to get into the pit entry before the field is packed behind the safety car. But he will lose. I think that he will lose the lead to Dominic Walsh. My goodness. Tom Walsh is out, and Dominic Walsh will lead the Austin, not Austrian, the Austin race in, let's say, 2 minutes. Oh, Thomas Walsh, he didn't throw away his championship chances, but that is a tremendously big step in the wrong direction for Thomas Walsh. So let's just stay with Blake Gary and see where he will be track-wise at the end of his pit stop. Don't run your Alpine into the barrier there. Don't copy the Tom Walsh. Whew. He got around the corner in one piece. Red off, green on. Good stop from the Alpine crew. And then he will stay ahead. Have a look. Blake Gary will stay ahead of Dominic Walsh. Rather comfortably, but the comfort will be gone soon. Will be gone now. Don't overtake Bernd Mailänder. Yes, well done. Whew. What a huge moment. I am still in a bit of a shock of that big mistake from Tom Walsh. But we all had that already. I think every F1 driver had that moment already, especially in Austin. Yeah, and while Bernd Mailänder is leading the field over through the drizzle rain, I'm back with you in a moment. So when lap 12 will come to an end, we will head back to green condition. At least that is what I expect. The field is still a bit far away. That is, I think, Ikic, Chapman and Gregory Morty, who are still in Sector 1. So that could cause the CPU to still keep this safety car going. What is Nevis Ikic doing? He went in already, then I think he went back to yellow. Yes, he has 3 stops already, Ikic, and still is in need of 1 more drive-through penalty serve, and that was Eli, who had a short brief spin there, and that caused him to drop down to P8. Yes, 1 more lap of safety car. And another interesting thing, Achterlücken is in 4th. He was battling with Gary for the lead, if you remember, and if you don't, just scroll back a few minutes. If you have a moment. Achterlücken was battling with Gary for the lead, and now, because he stopped 2 laps earlier than Gary, have a look, he is down to 4th anymore. So the wrong decision about when to stop. It was a little bit too early for him. Further, of course, he was on the bad luck side of the safety car phase, because everyone else could have a shorter stop or didn't lose so much of time when stopping on the safety car. Of course, he did still when we were in green condition. From green condition to green tire. And I'm just wondering what Ikic is doing. Why Nevis is running on yellow so long. This could only mean that maybe the rain will just be a short drizzle and things will dry out very early and very soon again. As we are on the TV pod here of Achterlücken. It is still drizzling. There is still water supply coming downwards from the sky. Maybe Ikic just doesn't care about his tires because he'll need a drive-through penalty and will be in last position then anyway. Whatever it is, the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Means this man, like Gary, is now pacing the field here in the last sector. Oh yeah, Tom Walsh, welcome to the chat box. And there is some frustration between his words as I read between the lines. But for the moment, here is the restart for Blake Gary, leading the way of Dominic Walsh, and we all know that Gary is a pretty good rain driver. So things are all but decided for Dom Walsh by now. There is no DRS of course because of safety car and rain. So Dominic Walsh will need to find a different spot to overtake the youngest driver, but first he needs to get into striking distance because he's too far away right now. In third, then Mike Taylor, yellow. Ikic on the slicks. Ikic on the slicks had fun, and this is no surprise as it is just too slippery for the medium tire here. So there is already a little bit of a gap forming between Taylor and Walsh. So it looks like Mike Taylor can not match the pace of the top two. At least it looks like as if that would start to begin right here. And then some less than seconds gaps from Achterlücken and Boosted. Then Grimmo at the second. McDonald, Chapman around about a second. 2 seconds for Igilai. Oi, oi, oi. Igilai is ruining his front wing and his race just with it. The good thing is he was very close to the pit entry, which he doesn't need. My goodness. Oi, oi, oi. Heated tires and coming back to the track in a very unique way. And now he opts for a pit stop. Has just ran into the wall and hurt his nose. He caused a VSC and now decided to leave us for tonight. He is out. Okay, so we had a pit stop from Gregory Mortier. But he opted for fresh interest, so that means it is still too wet. While Ekic is still swimming around the Cobra on his slicks. And he is still daring to go on slicks. Is it still raining? It's still a light drizzle, but lighter than earlier. So I think it's obvious that we will go back to dry racing pretty soon. But Ekic is really bold. He is really pushing for it. And with the departure of Igilai, that means that every driver will be given points. And Dominic Walsh is into the pits. Walsh is in. And Boosted, Grimmo, Leonard Cam. What's happening here? Everyone is turning back to slicks. Back to slicks we go. The whole field. Walsh on mediums. Mediums for Chapman. Softs, Boosted and Goodman. And Leonard Cam, who had picked up a pen. Leonard Cam just served the penalty here. Drive-through penalty for the Haas driver to serve. Oh my. And now let's see what Gary is doing. Will he pit or not? And now we know why Ekic has pushed hard on the mediums, because this was the only way to counter the drive-through penalty he had to serve. So he tortured himself for a bunch of laps. Congratulations to you, Nevis, for biting on your lips, as we say in our mutual German language. And Gary is trying everything he can to stay ahead, to stay on track, to stay as fast as possible, and to try to get into the pits early enough to stay ahead of Dominic Walsh again. Similar situation as we had during a safety car phase. Does he turn into? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And Mike Taylor. So now let's stay with him. But I think that he will now lose the lead. I think that Dominic Walsh was inside the pit stop delta. And he will finish the race on yellow tire. Yes, okay, like almost everyone else. And where is Dominic Walsh? On the main straight, and Walsh is through. Dominic Walsh in the lead. Blake Gary right behind him, but what is it? I would say 3 seconds away. Oh, and Grimo is there too. Oh my, and Grimo Goodman has pushed through. Ooh, haha, hard curb racing there from Blake Gary. So we have a few drivers who opted for a different strategy. It is Goodman, Taylor and Boosted. Oh, and Gregory Mortier, who decided to go through on softs. And Achter Lücken will not go through anymore. Safety car. Where is he? Where is he? Didn't find him yet. After the next turn, there should be a wrecked Williams. Right when we and Neves Ikic turned towards him, the track marshals got rid of his car, and we have us a second safety car. Let's see if Ikic will pit now, get himself a fresh set of softs maybe to go through the race. And speaking about softs, yeah, that's a good question. Can those soft runners really maintain a good pace to finish the race on this set? Hard to say, hard to tell, but the safety car phase will be a bit of an advantage for the soft runners, as they can conserve the tires now for 2 laps, a little bit more. Don't have to go on the full limit of the soft tire. So let's catch up things a little bit. Here is the leader Dominic Walsh being caught from Bernd Beirender. And then Grimo in second, but on softs. Grimo on softs. This could be a very interesting restart for the Alpine driver. Potentially on the faster rubber than the leader. In third, Blake Gary. He and Dom Walsh do not have to worry. They will definitely be able to go through on this set of tire until the end of the race. And then Taylor and Boosted on fresh softs. They have to worry if they can get through. But on the other hand, they have the better tire than everyone around for the restart. Chapman on mediums, Ikic on old mediums, McDonald mediums, and Gregory Mortier on fresh softs. So this will be a very interesting mixture of tire compounds for the restart. Which is likely to happen at the end of the next lap, I would like to say. And I will be back with you in a few moments. So we're here on the long back straight, and I expect race control to call in Bernd Mailänder in the safety car after the next turn, after this turn. 3, 2, 1. Safety car in this lap. Okay. So Dominic Walsh is now pacing the field here in sector 3, and for us that means, yeah, while the sun is coming out here again, back to a sunny, lovely day in Austin, Texas. For us that means that it will be very interesting if he can shake off Grimo, or if Grimo can compete for a victory here. Would not be his first in this season. He has surprisingly won Austria. Was a big surprise to that time, but totally deserved the cars. And here we go again. Restart number 2. This time it is Dominic Walsh leading the way. And Grimo not in a position to overtake. Not yet, but the effect of the faster tire should kick in very soon. And have a look! Blake Gary sneaked through. Blake Gary sneaked through just as he sneaked ahead of him earlier after their each pit stops. And now all of a sudden it is Gary who might chase the lead of Walsh again. So totally different direction. I expected Grimo and Taylor to be the hunters here on their better tire. And other way around, the hunters got chewed up by a haunted. And have a look, Blake Gary is aggressive in the slipstream of Dominic Walsh already. DRS unavailable for this and the next lap. And then afterwards, Dominic Walsh will maybe not stand a chance to defend in the DRS window, while his teammate Dylan Chapman, who still has some theoretical chances for a championship, is muscling upwards into P5. So Grimo on the soft tire is losing time on mediums. That is interesting. What's happening here? A very, very fast Alpine is happening. Alpine chasing Mercedes. Some moment you only see in virtual racing. While Ikic and Boosted both needed a pit stop rather simultaneously. That could have been some tangling there. Some sort of coming together between the Alpha Tauri and Red Bull. And have a look how aggressive Gary is. He is in the slipstream of Dom Walsh. He's sitting right on his rear wing. Wow, woohoo, what a maneuver from Gary, but I think one lap too early. He should have done it one lap later, because then he would have the total surprise plus DRS effects. Now it is still no DRS yet. And Mike Taylor isn't far away either. Inside attack from Gary. Inside. Now the battle lane for Walsh. Wow, what a hard battle it is. Hard but fair and a bit unexpected. I did really not see the pace of Gary coming. But he seemed to be the faster one on the same tire. And from behind, Mike Taylor on the faster tire is incoming. Maybe Mike Taylor will be the lucky third man in the end. Now DRS is enabled not for this straight, but on the long back straight. Then Gary weaving left and right, showing himself in the rearview mirror. So let's enjoy this battle from the view of Mike Taylor here in Sector 1. Sector 1 will not be a battle, just following each other through the S's, trying to ignore the dirty air effect as good as you can. Gary again aggressively over the curbs. Taylor does so too, and yet again And now this time it should work for Gary. Have a look how close he is. DRS activated, DRS available for the Alpine. This should work on this very long back straight. Gary with overtake button, he uncorks it and cruises by easily. Oh, a bit early on the brake maybe. Mike Taylor slips through as well. Taylor is through too, and Tom Walsh lost 2 positions in just one scene, and maybe not even one, not even 2, because Grimo isn't far away either. Have a look, it looks like Gary is pulling away right after the overtake. Oh, Grimo, not a good lane here for the final left-handers, and that brings in Chapman. Not yet. Not yet, but very soon. And behind Chapman is Stuart McDonald. Ah, what an intense final few laps we have here in this Austin race, Austin Grand Prix. And all of that somehow helps Thomas Walsh, because Dominic Walsh would only make up 15 points now on him and be in the lead by 12 then. Gregory Morty in the pits again. Now the next long back straight. Dylan Chapman is close to Goodman, who has no chance of doing anything here, even though he is on the faster tire. He was chewed up by Tom Walsh, Mike Taylor and Blake Gary. And in the lead we have a new leader. Lead change once again. How many different leaders did we have in this race? I have no clue, but Mike Taylor is the next one. And with five and a half laps to go, this could be an interesting or maybe decisive lead change. Blake Gary here in the slipstream, dirty air through the long triple apex right-hander, left and left. Then the next DRS zone. In the top 6, everyone is DRS supplied, beside Mike Taylor, of course. Mike Taylor is supplying it for everyone, you could say. So this race is far but over. 5 laps remaining, almost exactly 5 laps it is. And everyone in these top 6 could be the eventual winner. Everyone could be with better chances for the top 3, of course. Oh, and Dominic Walsh is about to drop out of the 1 second window. The DRS detection is right here, and he is barely out. I think Dominic Walsh is not DRS equipped. He was very strong in the rain, but it looks like he is not so much competitive in dry condition. That could be a indicator that he is running with a lot more downforce than the others. Yellow in the S's, that was Ikic, I think. Yes, it was Ikic, down to 9th. And Gary battling with Mike Taylor. Could we have us yet another new race winner in this season? We are in race 18 and we had, I think, 8 different race winners. Could there be a 9th here tonight? Because Gary or Taylor both would be an additional race winner of MRS Season 3. Tom Walsh, Grimo, Chapman in P3 for 5. They all have won already once this season, but Gary and Taylor didn't. Whatever it is, both these drivers, Taylor and Blake Gary, had a tremendously good race. And Dominic Walsh is again not inside the DRS window. Not inside. Dominic Walsh is struggling, and now for the moment let's have a look what Gary is doing. But Taylor, have a look. Taylor always accelerating out of turn 10 strong enough so that Gary is not able to attack, although it's so long. And behind it is Dominic Walsh still in third, constantly losing a little bit of time on Gary. But Grimo Goodman, although he is on the faster tire, is not getting himself into striking distance. And then it is Dylan Chapman in P5. If he wants to keep his championship hopes alive, he would have to finish ahead of his teammate. Not too far away, just a second away, so this is possible, but we have still 3.5 laps remaining from now onwards. Sorry, 2.5 laps. 2 plus this lap. So Chapman has to go on full attack mode. And same goes for Gary if he intends to win this race. Gary is close, always inside the DRS window, but he was not able to get close enough to get wheel to wheel. Let's see what the next long straight will bring. This time he is closer, but not sure if it can be enough for an attack. 410, 310, 310, 210. He was close when we turned towards the braking point, but not close enough to dare to go wheel to wheel. And now he's close, but this doesn't help him here in these sections anymore. Mike Taylor on the soft tire, by the way, so potentially faster tire for the Aston Martin, but can he make this tire last through the rest of the race, or will the soft degrade to some time? We are in the penultimate lap, the last 2 laps to decide the US Grand Prix. Gary inside, better acceleration, have a look how close he is. He just would need a screwdriver here to repair the Taylor gearbox. Oh, and a little bit of mistake, maybe a little bit of a mistake from Gary there. One of the S's that costed him a tenth or two. And now we turn towards the long back straight, the penultimate long DRS zone for Gary. 4.5 10, 3.5 10. He seems a little bit closer. Overtake button. Overtake is empty. Overtake is almost empty for Gary. He cannot use the energy. But in the end, can he? No, he cannot. He cannot overtake. He just cannot get close enough. And in the background, we have seen a position swap. Chapman and Goodman. Chapman pushed up into 4th over Grimo. This is really interesting that Grimo cannot match the other driver's pace, even though he is on the, in theory, faster tire. So Grimo is really struggling with pace here around the Cobra, and all of a sudden Dominic Walsh is close again because the drivers ahead maybe have started battling, and that gives Dominic Walsh the S. So we are in the final lap, and this could be the threesome battle for the lead. Those 3 boys will probably decide the podium, but in which order? In which order? Once again, the final lap, and MRS just bursts into excitement. And through the S's, no chance for overtake for anyone, of course. Everyone will be DRS equipped on this one last back straight. Everyone but Mike Taylor not, of course. And Dylan Chapman behind isn't far away either. Maybe even Chapman is DRS equipped. Can Gary attack Taylor? And what will Dominic Walsh do the last time over the long straight? Weaving left, weaving right, wing open for Gary. There was attack. There was attack between those two boys, and Dominic Walsh on the outside lane. On the outside lane over the curb, the better lane for the Walsh. And there was attack. There was attack. Walsh is through and Mike Taylor is off the podium. Mike Taylor off the podium. Gary leading the race. Still just a handful of turns left for our youngest driver, who will probably be the next man, the next winner, the next inaugural victory. This is it for Blake Gary. Congratulations, Austin race winner. Wow, what an intense finale here. What an intense last 2 laps. Great result, great podium for all these. Dominic Walsh finishes second in the end after he looked, sorry to say so, but rather slow in the last stint on the medium. And in the end, with P2, he will be up by 15 points then, if I remember correctly, over his brother in our overall standings. And Dylan Chapman in third. Strong performance towards the end of the race, muscling his way upwards onto the podium. But once again, he finished behind his teammate, behind Dominic Walsh. And I don't have all the numbers in my head right now, but this could be that this is more or less maybe the end of his championship hopes here in Season 3. Nevertheless, we congratulate Blake Gary, the next MRS race winner in our long line of successful drivers. And here's the final result after penalties. We didn't have one, luckily. Once again, I remember you guys of the regular corner cut stringency, what I talked about in the lobby before the race. Blake Gary has won it, ahead of Dominic Walsh and Dylan Chapman. Then in fourth, Mark Goodman. Strange, and for him, I expected him to have a stronger pace. In fifth, Mike Taylor. He led the race partly. Huge tag. Not a big contact, but with big results with Dominic Walsh in the final lap. 6th, Leonard Camp. 7th, Boosted. 9th, Ikic. 8th, Ikic. 9th, Gregory Mortier. And not finished, Achter Lücken, Iggy Lai, Tom Walsh and Andrew Mount. Whew. What a race. What a race it was. What an end. What an interesting and exciting, and just as I always say, Mainstream Racing Series is a great racing series with every time exciting races. Totally unexpected things happen here. And just that went down here in Austin. Next Wednesday we will turn towards Bahrain. So desert race as always, Wednesdays 7:30 p.m. UK, 8:30 p.m. Continental. The stream goes online around about 5 to 10 minutes earlier. If you want to be notified by YouTube, just hit the subscribe button and you will be given a note. And until then, all I can say is to you and your family, Merry Christmas. Enjoy the time with your beloved ones. Stay safe. Happy holidays. And keep racing.